everybody. It's Barb Dunn and Dr. Tammy, and we have a special guest today, Gina Weibel. Is that how I say your last name? Did I say it correctly?
Weibel, you were so
Weibel?
close. Yeah.
We're here because we're going to talk all about Gina and what she does and who she is and how she got started. And let you take it away. Go for it.
Hey, actually, I hear my dog coming. One sec. No problem. My name's Gina Weibel, and I've been in Owners Club for 9 months, and I've been in Sub 2 for 2 years, and also Gator for that same amount of time. And I got started in real estate doing private money lending, and then I joined a couple of different multifamily syndications as a capital raiser and general partner. And then I was expanding, looking for other kinds of deals. I went to Squat Up Summit and I met a couple of people who became my current partners, and they buy properties subject to the existing mortgage and sell them on a modified kind of wrap. And at first, when I met them and they asked me to be a private money partner so that they could acquire some properties, I told them I wasn't super interested and I didn't like the structure of the deal very much. And then they had the right answer, which was, Gina, go ahead and restructure it and tell us what should it look like in order to make it successful. And I said, oh, yes, thank you. And so I restructured how things worked. And with that new structure, I was happy to be a partner. And as a matter of fact, then I brought in other capital partners for several months and then became a partner in the business. So in 2025, as a partner in EasyDwell business, we did 5 investment clubs.
Wow. Through fractional?
We didn't use fractional. We just did it ourselves.
Okay.
At the time, fractional was still fledgling. So they do offer a nice service, but if you know you're going to be doing multiple clubs, and if you already have a team of accountants, then maybe you could do it on your own. But it sure is easier when you have fractional do that for you. So I don't discount that they offer a valuable service, but it is something possible that you can do on your own if you wanted to. So with our investment clubs, we raised $500,000 in each one, and we would buy 10 properties. And then the people in those clubs would share the down payments when the houses were sold and the cash flow every month from the houses once they were stabilized. And that's all there was to it. So after doing 5 of those in a year, we didn't want to keep having to create new clubs every single month. So we have started a fund. So we just are now launching our fund. It's a 506c fund, which means we can only take accredited investors. Right. Accredited means, according to the SEC, that your annual income is $200,000 or your net worth is $1 million. This is the SEC's way of protecting investors from getting in over their heads on investments. But in our fund, we have a projected 20% average annual return for investors. And our strategy is to snowball. Instead of distributing all of the down payment from the end buyer, we plan to reinvest it so that we can buy more houses. But
great. Did you go through? That's okay. Did you go through Avestor, or you did that on your own as well?
We set up our fund using Fund Launch mentorship that you can sign up for, and they had a level called Black Card. So we're members of the Black Card, and that included some services to get your first fund set up. So that's how we got that done.
Great.
And I've enjoyed the community. So if anybody wants to ask questions about it or is thinking of joining, I'm happy to give feedback about that.
Great.
Okay. Thank you for that, Gina.
Sounds like you're busy.
Well, yes. Our team has successfully done a year of buying a property every week and selling a property every week, just
Wow.
about. And it's
Huh.
not the same property.
Yeah.
Most properties we hold for on average 80 days. And we are only in the state of Florida currently.
So do you have end buyers lined up?
A few, but not very many. As we go, our list of end buyers who are awaiting properties gets bigger. They
Mhm.
usually tell us what neighborhood they want. And then
Mm.
as soon as we get something in that city or neighborhood, we sell it to them immediately. And actually, this is nice because in the past year, we've had maybe 3 or 4 houses that we sold that way. I guess you could say we had a buyer before we even bought the house. But
Nice.
we've done about 60 houses or ish. There's 52 weeks in a year. We did about 50, 55 houses. Most of them, we did not have an end buyer until marketing it for a few months.
Right. Wow.
Yeah.
Huh. That's great. It's
Um,
very impressive. I'm sitting here trying to hold my jaw. Like, wow.
Well, we have a whole team working together. That really helps.
Yeah.
And when people ask me, so a couple things about the team, people ask how much does it cost to stabilize a whole house? And right now it's maybe $50,000 per house. Doesn't mean that the entry fee is $50,000, but the $50,000 includes us paying team members to achieve the marketing and the paying off the wholesalers, paying realtors if they're involved, paying for advertising, all of those things, and then paying the team members who sourced the deal in the first place. So the arrears on one of these sub 2 purchases might only be $20,000. But once you include the closing costs and then the
Lipstick.
cost to all the people that I just talked about, and then the marketing, cleaning, photos, getting yard work done. We do not do renovations, but we will do minor repairs, maybe fix a piece of drywall, maybe fix a toilet,
Yeah.
something like that, maybe do interior paint. All of that together adds up to maybe $50,000.
Okay.
Good.
So,
Wow.
So do you have bird dogs that look for the property for you, or do you have of your team that do that for you?
so yes and no. The members of my team who are constantly finding deals are basically bird dogs, but I'm paying them an hourly wage to do it.
Are you?
And so
That's-
when I get bird dogs from the community who reach out to me, most of the time they show me something that we've already seen. It's very
Oh.
rare that they find something that we haven't seen yet.
Right.
And so I'm telling bird dogs, I'm like, if you want to work for me, the real secret would be to go direct to a wholesaler.
Mhm.
If you have some network of wholesalers that I don't have access to, that would be useful. But most wholesalers advertise their deals in the same channels, and most bird dogs are in those same channels. So you see, it's
Right.
tricky to get in there. So I'm always encouraging the bird dogs. I'm like, just go find a seller and then get it under contract yourself and upgrade to wholesaler.
Right.
That's where you'll be most successful.
So I'm curious why you're staying just in Florida. Are you expanding? Like, do you want to come
We
to
will
Idaho and work with us?
Oh, it'll take us a minute to get to Idaho, but we started in Florida and we are forcing ourselves to learn how to do everything almost completely remotely. We can look at a deal and run the numbers and tell that it's probably going to be a good deal. And we've never been to the property. Then we send a contractor to do a quick walkthrough to tell us what kind of repairs might need to be done.
Yeah.
And we pay them a small fee for that. Then we decide to get it under contract. Then we send an inspector to the house and we pay them for that and they take pictures. We still haven't been to the house ourselves. Then we decide to close on it. Then we send a repair person if there's something that needs to be done. We send a locksmith, a cleaner, someone to do the yard. The locksmith puts like a keypad on the thing. We
Yeah.
also set up security cameras to film inside and outside the house. We still haven't been to the house. We can even start showing the house. And when people go, they can use the keypad to get in and walk through. And we have brochures of ours that explain our unique financing system there. And we're communicating with them through Zoom and all of this. And we still haven't been to the house. And then we do have people in Florida who will meet in person and talk to our end buyers so that they don't go through the whole process without talking to an individual.
Right.
But part of the business plan was to make this as touch-free as possible for us. So I live in Seattle. All the properties are in Florida. It's a red state. It makes it kind of easy for us to control the property in a landlordy sort of way. But we do plan to expand to other states once we get the volume that we want.
Right.
We want to have a well-known business, a well-known name, a well-known brand, and then expand to other states rather than just be a thin layer. We want to go deep.
So you touched briefly upon funding, or can you talk a little bit about that? I mean, what do you offer that's unique for buyers?
For the buyers, right.
Yeah.
So in traditional wraps, if the end buyer defaults, it's tricky to get the deed back from them. You have to, I mean, it's not tricky. You have to foreclose on them to get the deed back. And that can trigger the due on sale from the underlying mortgage, which is one reason why we don't want to have to deal with that. And also, depending on what state you're in and what the rules are, it can be kind of long and slow and tricky. So we sell equity in the home in a fractional manner instead, where there is no loan. So we don't have a loan with the end buyer. So we don't need an RMLO. They are a business partner with us. We have an operating agreement, and we set up an LLC that owns the home. And initially, our fund owns the entire 100% of the shares. But then when we find a buyer, they buy 10% of the shares. So at any given time, they can show exactly how much equity of the business they own. And then every month, they buy more shares, which at any time they can show how much they own. In the operating agreement, it states that they'll pay for the fees to cover the taxes, the insurance, and their monthly payment.
Mm-hmm.
As long as they do that every month, they get to live in the house. They can remodel. They can have all the freedoms, freedom to live there without being bothered by us. But if they default, we don't have to foreclose on them. We just eject them, and they will lose their shares, and we can resell the shares.
Wow.
So to the end buyer, the nice thing is they would never have a foreclosure on their record, even if they have to just get up and walk away. They still are not going to have a foreclosure. Yes, they will lose the money that they invested, but it won't harm their credit. It also won't improve their credit either. So
Right.
a blank
Wow.
slate on that front.
Huh.
For us, if we have to eject somebody and then sell the house again, it would be a couple months of non-payment from them. Then we would probably have to clean the house and maybe paint it again and then market it again. And then a few months of marketing. So maybe 4, 5, 6 months total of non-payment before we get another down payment from another buyer.
Mm-hmm.
And that down payment from that buyer refills our war chest that we had expended to cover those months.
So what's the length of time? 30 years or 15 years or what?
We offer an option to people. And interestingly, on our website, we've thought about putting a little slider bar where if they want a 30-year term, there's a down payment, there's a monthly payment. If they want to increase the term to 40 years, it's a smaller monthly payment. If they want to increase to 50 years, we've never had anybody choose 50 years yet, but that's a thing. Have you seen that some people are doing a 50 year?
I'm too old. I'm too old to think about it.
Agreed. So we have many people on a 30-year term and many people on a 40-year term. And just to be careful, it's not a mortgage. They didn't borrow money, and it's not a payment plan that's paying down a mortgage. It's just a purchasing shares over time plan.
But you have certain criteria. They have to have a certain credit score. They have similar to what a bank would have for criteria.
Similar but different. Most of the people that we sell to cannot get a bank loan.
Right.
Which is why they are very happy to have access to home ownership with us.
Yeah.
The stories are amazing. And this is my favorite part, is to talk to the families who they have their own business. They have good monthly income. They have a down payment, but they're frustrated because they can't buy a home.
Yeah.
And so they're happy to finally be able to buy a home.
Absolutely.
And even though this isn't a mortgage and it doesn't have a interest rate, if you were to take that monthly payment and compare it to an amortized mortgage, it would probably compare to an interest rate 9% or higher. So a 9% mortgage rate is not a steal of a deal, but this is giving them access to purchase a home, whereas previously they had no access. It was 100% rent and zero equity ever.
Yeah,
so now
exactly.
they do have equity.
Yes, something to build on as opposed to not. Yeah, that's great. What a lovely business model.
Yeah.
That's impressive. Yeah.
With affordability, being such a huge issue in the United States, that product is I've never heard of it, Gina.
Me either.
Never heard anything like that. So kudos to you and your team.
Yeah.
Thank you. I did have a few people, I told them, I said, we're not making houses affordable. We're just making it accessible.
Available.
And someone corrected me and they said, accessibility is affordability, because previously for these families, the only way they could buy a house was to, in cash, pay for the entire house up front.
Yeah.
And that's not affordable. So they're providing a way.
Exactly. Wow.
Yeah.
On my website, soon. We're constantly changing the website, but my company is EasyDwell.com, and you have to spell out the word EasyDwell. It's not just the letters easy. But we have a new video coming out, which has some interviews with some families that have bought homes. And one interview that I love is a mom who got divorced, and as part of the conditions of the divorce, if she wanted custody of the kids, she had to own a home. I don't know why that was in the terms, but she was like, I don't see any way that I can own a home because I don't have great credit. And we don't have your credit score as a hard and defining rule. We do vet our borrowers, but we weigh their situation to figure out if we want to lend to them. And so although her credit had been ruined by some things that had happened in the past, we didn't want to hold that against her. So she was able to buy a home, get custody of her kids, and their lives have been like so improved and changed that it's just a really good story.
Yeah,
it's really great that we were able to help her with her family in that way. And I love stories like that.
I do too.
Wow. So is that the best way to get a hold of you, is through your website, or is there a different?
That is a very good way, EasyDwell.com.
Okay.
You can also reach out to me, Gina, Gina, at EasyDwell.com. I'm happy to take your emails at any time. I love meeting wholesalers who have sub 2 properties. We try to buy one a week. So I'm always looking for more. 3-bedroom, 2-bath. We avoid flood zones. Right now, we're just in the state of Florida. We want the property, if it could cash flow as a long-term rental, then we know that we could definitely make it cash flow using our model. So I ask people, could this cash flow? I think the number one deal that I throw out is a sub 2 deal that looks good on the surface until I check what long-term rental rates are. And the PITI is already higher than long-term rental rates.
Right.
So I'm like, oh, this was not a good deal for anyone at all.
Yeah.
And then the second thing that probably kills a deal for us is we like our PITI to be about 2,400 or less. There are many places in Florida, especially Orlando and Tampa and Kissimmee, where PITI is 5,000 or 6,000. And even if it can cash flow as a long-term rental, I have to hold it for 2 or 3 months before I can get it to cash flow. And I don't want to pay more than 2,400 a month. Plus, if I can get 800 or 900 a month on a property, I'd rather have it be a property with a low cost underlying loan rather than a high cost underlying loan, just for my own risk.
Sure.
Yeah.
Good.
And we avoid flood zones. That's the other thing.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Great. What piece of advice would you give someone starting out in, I guess, real estate, or buying single family homes? What would you?
Well, can I give
share?
advice to the private money lenders instead? Because that's how I got started. So I still do private money lending, in large part because our fund is a growth fund. It has a 5-year lockup. And although the returns are good, not everybody wants their money to be locked up for 5 years. And also we have an 8% pref, which means even though you're earning 20%, you're not getting paid all of it out up front every year. On the back end is where you're going to get the most of your rewards. So sometimes people want something a little faster and with a quicker turnaround, and PML serves that purpose. My advice to the people doing PML is to get very good, very fast at throwing away deals. I recommend all my PMLs to look at 20 deals, underwrite them completely, get as much detail as you can, and then throw them all away, because the chances are that most of them, maybe all of them, are actually bad deals. There's so many deals that come to me for people wanting PML that are just not very good deals.
Yeah.
Ones that I've been looking at a lot lately are people who want to borrow money in second lien position. They want me to be in second lien position. But once I realize that the first lien has already completely leveraged the property, there's no way I want to put a second lien on that property because it's meaningless.
Yes.
So I see dozens of those. And I think the people asking for the money don't even realize that what they're asking for is useless. They think that they're giving me some kind of collateral, and I have to explain to the borrower that it's not worthwhile. So that's mind-blowing. When dealing with new flippers who haven't done very many flips, they often are not that good at underwriting their own deals. And I hate to say it, but they're leaving it to the PML to underwrite the deal and explain to them why they should not do that flip. So if you have it in your heart as a PML, go talk to the borrower and tell them, please don't do that flip. It's not going to turn out well. There's not enough money to be made to make it worth your time. And I'm certainly not going to lend on it either. If somebody, even if I'm in first lien position, if the borrower is not making, if they're barely making $10,000, it's not worth 6 months of their life. And also, if one small thing goes over budget or over time, all of the money to be made is lost. And I'm like, you're not going to be able to pay me back. You're not going to make anything. Why bother? So those are just 2 examples. There's so many examples.
I've been lending as well. And honestly, I had bad deals, but now I don't have the stomach for it anymore. I'm just like, you know what? Nothing comes back on time. And even if everything looks great, it's just like, I think I don't have.
There is risk in working with as a PML, and you're weighing. I still do it, but I throw away 20 deals and then I lend on one. So I want the new PMLs to get that number in their mind, and I want them to get that attitude in their mind that in order to be a PML, you have to be an expert underwriter. Unfortunately, you cannot outsource that to anyone. It has to be you.
Yes.
And unfortunately, you have to educate the borrowers a lot of times,
Yeah.
which is unfortunate. When you do find a borrower who is doing a good number of projects and paying people back, I hate to say it, but there's another red flag you have to watch out for. If the borrower is doing a huge number of projects and they are taking out loans from dozens of people, the red flag you have to watch out for is, are they putting all of these loans into one big slush fund? And when I loan them money, are they using my money to pay out another PML?
Yeah.
In which
Yeah.
case the projects might be struggling and they're just trying to
The shell game.
Peter to pay
Yeah,
Paul.
the shell
At some
game.
point, the whole thing's going to collapse.
Yeah.
So sometimes when you see a borrower who has successfully paid out 10 or 12 people, that doesn't always mean that everything went well. You have to really dig in and find out, show me the project, show me how much you sold it for, how long did it take, does
Right.
everything
Well,
line up? So
I joined Gator in December and I got my first 3 deals in January and I had no idea. I just I trusted the guy who was underwriting it. And,
Right.
You know,
I did
didn't-
that too, and I lost money.
Me too.
Every single time. So every single time I let a connector do my underwriting and they said, oh, it's going to be great. Every single one of those went bad. The times when the deals went good is when I underwrote it myself. So that's my
That's your advice.
PMLs is I'm sorry, but you have to be the expert, and being a PML is not passive. It is very active.
Yes.
So, and now let's come full circle. Give your money to my fund. Come invest with me, because coming from that standpoint, I understand what you want. I will share all of the underwriting on all the properties that we own. You can see how much we bought it, how much it cash flows, all the details on every property.
Mhm.
You can see exactly what we've done. And
So is it a yearly return or do you?
we're paying out quarterly now from the
Quarterly.
fund, and there's an 8% preferential return, which means every year you earn 8%, and we are distributing that. And then the returns that you make above that, for 5 years, we're not going to distribute it. We're going to reinvest it. It's still your money, but it's been reinvested. And then after 5 years, if you want, you can draw it out. Otherwise, we will start increasing our distributions at that point. And we, as the GPs, don't make anything we don't take any distributions until we start making those distributions above 8%. And that's when it's a 50-50 split. So we're willing to wait long-term because we know there's going to be a big payout at the end. Building up a large portfolio of cash flowing properties. So it's going to be a snowball.
That's
Yes.
great.
Very
Wow.
cool. Very cool.
This was very interesting. Well, thank you so much for being here. And we always like to invite folks back. So could we ask you to come back in a couple of months and just give us an update? We'd love that.
I would love that. That sounds fantastic.
Okay, great.
All right.
Wow. Lots of information, which was so good. Thank you. Thank you.
I should tell people I didn't really cover what is a rep, what is a sub 2. I just assumed that your audience knows, but I'm always available, Gina at EasyDwell.com. They can email me if they have a property, if they have a question about sub 2s or wraps, or if they are a realtor in Florida. We pay realtors to help us find buyers and properties. So if they're a wholesaler, I like working with everybody. Yeah.
That's wonderful. Well, thanks again. Bye.
Thank you.
Great. All right. Thanks so much.